All right, good morning guys, welcome to your first video practical. Today we're going to be looking at the introduction and basics to falconry. So in a minute we're going to go downstairs and meet the bird, but I'll just give you a layout of the overall plan. These videos I'm looking to do one a week, keeps us a bit fresh on our practicals. I'm going to upload them onto Canvas, you can have a look at them, and then I'll put some worksheets alongside them. You can watch the videos, hoping they'll be between about 5 and 10 minutes. You can answer the questions, and it just keeps us fresh in terms of, working with the animals, our health, our handling, our husbandry techniques. Okay, so as mentioned yesterday on Canvas, today is going to be an introduction to falconry. So I'm going to introduce you to Rango, who's my male Harris hawk. He's 2 years old. I've had him for about just over a year now. So he was a pest control falcon. So we used to look after sites, getting rid of pigeons, crows, gulls, that kind of thing. Okay. So in a minute, we're going to go downstairs. I'm going to show you the equipment. I'm going to show you how you use the equipment, how you handle him, a little bit of health, and then we're going to just do kind of an overall summary of working with a bird of prey. Okay, so without that, let's go. All right, guys, I know we've said it in the past, and I know you're very aware of it, but obviously sometimes when you work with animals, you are going to be working early hours in any condition. And we say it all the time, but it's a good example. It's still dark. Quite early in the morning, snow everywhere. All right, so yeah, you've got to be ready to do that. So what I'm doing now is I'm just heading over to my garage, which is where I keep the bird. So we'll go down in there in a second. I'm going to get him off his perch. Because it's still dark, I'm going to go inside, I'm going to get him on the glove, and then I'm going to come back then, and then obviously we can go over about a little bit of health checking and things like that. Okay, all right guys, there he is. Looks a bit creepy there with his there he is, that's better. So this is his basic setup. So he's trying to come out now in the morning. All right, and there he is, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rango. He is my Harris hawk. He is 2 years old. I've had him for about a year and a half, so I got him when he was still very young. All right, he's a medium-sized hawk. They're from the Americas. And you can see I've got quite a bit of gear on him. There's my gauntlets and my leather glove, the leash with the falconer's knot in it. You see he's got some anklets on. And then you can see these things with the button knot on. So they're called jesses, okay? And that's what helps attach the leash and the bird to the glove. And you can see there's a little metal thing here. So that's called the swivel. So the jesses, which are these, attach to the swivel, which attaches to the leash, which attaches to my glove with this falconer's knot. And it just means that if he does try to fly off, I've got a hold of him. You can see though he's very relaxed on me. He knows who I am, and he'll sit there for me. So he is an imprint, which means he does think that I'm either a bird or I'm his dad. You can say a few things about him. Okay. So the first thing you can notice is he's got very big talons, all right? So in the wild, these guys will hunt things like rodents, other lizards, small birds perhaps sometimes. But here in the UK, we use them to hunt for rabbits, pheasants, hare, rats, so that kind of thing, okay? What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put him back onto his perch, and then I'm going to go over some equipment with you, all right? As you can see though, lovely bird, dead calm, having a look around. Okay, so we'll go over the equipment next. Okay guys, so I said we're going to go over equipment. So as you can see, I've just got a box here, and this normally, if I take the gloves and everything off, this normally hangs on the back of here like that. And actually what you guys can't see is that Rango, the bird, is actually inside my garage. Okay, so I'm going to give you a better view of his mews, which is what it's called, that he's living in a second. Okay, but this is just his mews, so that's like an aviary that he lives in, and the equipment just sits on the back there, so when I need anything, it's lifted off and it's all inside. Okay, now the first things we're going to go over is something that you've just seen, and that is the leather gauntlet. So here you have a gauntlet. Okay, it's just made of leather. It's what we call single thickness. You can see it's not really that thick. All right, it's got a D-ring where I attach the leash. It's got a tassel, just, I don't know, people like the tassels. You see, to put it on, put your hand in, and that's it, okay? And the bird sits there on the main part like that, and I can use my fingers, okay? There is another style of glove that I have, and this is called a mangler glove. And this is more like a wrist cuff than anything. So it's still got the D-ring that you see on the leather glove here. These are less common in the UK. These are mainly used kind of in the Middle East for falcons, okay? But all you do with this one is it sits like that, okay? And the bird lands on there. And I'll show you that at a later date, okay? I might bring it into the college one day. But you can see the downside of this is my fingers are free. So if he does decide that he wants to have a little peck at my hand or anything like that, you know, you can, okay? But again, the leash just attaches to the D-ring there. I can hold the leash if I need to, and he would just land on the material there. Okay, so they're the gloves. The important thing is if you've got a leather glove, which you will have, is that you always treat them. So I use this, which is called Ben Long leather dressing, and it keeps the leather soft, but it also keeps it very strong. And obviously, you know, when you've got a bird with talons and it's sticking its feet in and all that, you want your leather to be very strong and tough because you don't want to hurt yourself, okay? And all you do with this, you get a little bit on your hand. So I just take it off my fingers, rub it in, and just rub it all over the glove, okay? I did this the other day. You can see it looks quite dark. It looks quite clean. Okay, so I did that the other day, so I'm not going to do that today. Now, the other stuff, as you can see, he's got a tennis ball. All right, that's just a bit of enrichment. You see he's tore it up a bit. Mimics chick fluff. You don't need to worry about him eating it, because I don't know if you do know, but birds of prey will regurgitate anything that they don't digest. So chick fur, bones, feet, anything like that they don't want. So if he does eat a little bit, he just brings it back up in a pellet. And I'll see if I can bring a couple of those into the college so I can show you one day. So there's the two types of gloves: leather gauntlet, mangler glove. And you want it, if anything made of leather, you always want to treat it with this stuff, okay? So let's move into the actual box itself. Now you don't have to forgive me, guys, I'm doing this on my phone, so don't expect any kind of high quality. So the first thing that you're going to need when you're working with falcons or hawks or birds of prey, set of scales. Obviously I can't get the bird to stand on that. So what do? I take a T-perch, like this, and I simply put it on the top. And then I'd push it on, I'd weigh the bird, and then that's that. And you need to weigh your bird, daily. All right, you have two sets of weights. You have something called a fat weight, which is what Rango is at now, which is where they just eat as much as they want and they won't fly. And then you have a flight weight, which is kind of like a diet, so you get the bird working. Okay, and I'll show you how to weigh them just a little bit later. Let's just go through the box quickly. So first thing, a wire brush. And you use that to just clean any leather. So just scrub all the bits off with this, okay? Hard, thick wire brush, all right? So that's mainly for cleaning. The tennis ball for some enrichment. Calci dust, I'm sure you've all seen this. So if I want him to have a little bit more calcium in his diet, I sprinkle this on his food. Now, I don't use this often, a pinch a week, and that's it, just a small pinch a week. Pliers for if I ever use anything that I need to cut. Anti-mite spray. And this just goes under his wings, so I'll just spray it on under his wings if I ever worried about mites. Okay, just one pump under the wing, one pump under the other wing, and then sometimes I'll put one under his tail as well. He's never had mites. This is for his mews, so I just spray it on the corners on the inside when I'm cleaning. Make sure that he's outside when I'm doing it. And then we have the actual gear that goes onto the bird itself. So here, and I'm not using this at the minute, this is a tail guard. So you see it's got a little clip at the top there. So when he's at flight weight, which is in the summer, and you'll see this when I bring him into the college, there's got a little loop on his tail. It's a little brass hook, and you stick it on, you kind of glue it on, and then that goes on when he's not flying, and you can see his tail goes inside. I'll show you, it's Velcro on the back. So you unhook it, you put his tail in, okay? You put it all together, close it, okay? And that's obviously on the back of him, and that protects his tail whenever he's in transit. So he doesn't have this on all the time, only when he's in transit, okay? Next thing, I've got a selection of different leashes that I use. Remember I said those are the most important thing that connects the bird to the glove. So there's quite a few in there, actually. I've got a lot. All right, there we go, quite a few. Okay, I've got a bell, which you will see when I'm flying him. That will be on his ankles. So if he ever lands in the tree and I'm not sure where he is, I can just hear his bell and I'll be able to find him. Some medicine for his foot. He's all right now, but he did cut his foot, so this is just flamazine. It's like a overall antibiotic, so don't need to worry about that. Got some old cable ties that I'll use. Scissors, just in case you need to cut anything again. Okay, and then these are called coping tools. And I actually use these to shape his beak. So in the wild, he would do this on a rock. But because he's in his mews and he doesn't have a rock, I have to do it for him. So maybe once a month, I'll get him, I'll restrain him, and I'll shape his beak for him, okay? And I'll show you how to do that at the college at some point, at a later date. The other thing you might have seen are these. Now, I mentioned at the very start of the video, some jesses, which are the things I said that have the little button loop on, okay? So you can get two different types of jesses. So these are actually leather jesses, sorry. So these are the same thing. They go inside the anklets, and then they connect to the swivel, and then the swivel connects to the leash, okay? So these are the same thing, they're just leather, all right? And you see at the bottom, they've got a hole, and I'll show you what that hole is for a little bit later. Two, obviously one for each leg. And again, because they're leather, you're always gonna wanna treat them to make sure that they don't snap and that they don't break, all right? It's nice, easy. And then the last few things in my box, these are swivels. So this is what the leash and the jesses connect to, so I can connect the bird to my gauntlet, okay? So I use something called a bullet swivel, which is this bottom one. Okay, this is a D swivel, but I like to use the bullet ones because they're a lot easier. You can see, I think they're just a lot simpler to use, okay? So that's my basic kind of falconry hawking box that I would take with me. So if I'm ever flying him anywhere, or if I'm bringing him into the college, I'll bring this box along with me, okay? Let's get the bird back out. We'll do a little bit of health. We'll have a look at him overall, his body score and things like that. And then, yeah, and then I think we'll start looking at wrapping it up there, okay? Okay, guys, so I've got him back off his perch, back in the garage. I'm just gonna show you quickly. You can see I've got him on the gauntlet, on the leather glove, okay? I've got my leash. I've got the jesses, remember, there, attached to the swivel, attached to the leash. Okay, now I'm gonna attach him to the D-ring, okay? So, to do that, I'm going to use the falconer's knot, which is basic knot tying skill that you will use if you work with birds of prey. I'll teach you it one day. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, make sure you can see it, is I'm going to loop it through the D-ring so it comes through just like that. Okay? Next thing, all right, you have to forgive me because I've never done this backwards. I'm going to make it like a little, you see I've got like a little loop there. So it's not just like that anymore. I've turned it and it's on a loop on itself. Okay, I'm going to bring it, it's not the best, guys, but I'm going to bring it through itself, and then all I'm going to do is push it through like that. And I'll do, you see it's like that. I'll do another video of that in a second, but just because I've got him on the glove, I'm going to pull it tight, and then I'm going to pull the top, and you can see he's now connected. So if he does try to fly off, I've got him held. Like I say, he's pretty cool with me, he's pretty chill. He is at fat weight though, so he doesn't really want to be touched much, okay? So the first thing when we're doing any kind of health-wise is we're looking at his behaviour. All right, so I'm just going to turn the camera around and then we'll have a look at him in a closer detail. Okay. So I can see his behaviour. He's looking good. He's acting normal. He's a bit chirpy because he's an imprint, so every now and then, I don't know if you can hear him making a noise. You can see he's looking around. He looks in good nick. He's got nice bright eyes. His feathers look good. He is in molt, which means he is regrowing a lot of feathers, and they do that in the winter, so he looks a bit scrappy, but in terms of everything, he does look really good. See, he's got a few bits on him, but what he'll do is he'll shave them off throughout the day, so that's normal. Now that we've seen his behaviour, okay, I'm just going to weigh him. So you can see, I've set up the scales. I'll put the T-perch on. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put the camera to one side. Hopefully you can see. And I'm going to give him a quick weigh. All right, so let's do that now. So I've set it up. You can see T-perch, scales. Check that it's in pounds and ounces, because that's what we weigh birds in, pounds and ounces. So I can see that. Check it's on 0. Remember that, because this weighs something as well, so always make sure it's on 0. All I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to undo the knot. Always have them secure, because if they fly off, they're going to go on there. I mean, he won't go far because he's an imprint, but still, you don't want to run the risk. All I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to turn my hand slightly. You see, he knows what he's doing. He'll step on, and I can see his weight. He's 1 pound, 10 ounces, and 8 grams, okay? Which is a good weight. Then when I want him back, you see, I just put my hand in front of him and he stepped on. So looking at the camera. What's that? Looking at the camera. So I put my hand in front of him and he stepped on. because he knows that's what he's got to do. So he's trained that way, okay? I'm going to retie the falconer's knot. Just going to do it quickly. Always make sure that they're secure, okay, guys? You can see he doesn't really want to do much, but still, why run the risk? Make the loop, bring it through, and then secure it off. See, it's all done with one hand as well, guys, because obviously when you're holding the bird, you've got to learn to do everything one-handed, okay? So next, last but not least, we're going to do a quick health check. All right, so I'm just going to turn the camera back around. Quick health check. I'll show you the accommodation, and then we'll wrap it up there, okay, guys? The thing I mentioned earlier was that we're looking at behaviour, so you can do that while he's in his weathering, in his mews, which is the aviary thing there that I've mentioned. Okay, like I say, this is actually called a mews, the way it's set up. All right, so that's why it's called like that. So that's a mews, M-E-W-S, and we'll talk about that in a lot more detail when I bring him in, okay? So first I'm going to start at the beak, at the very front. It is a little bit overgrown, but like I say, he doesn't have a rock, so I will trim that at some point in the next couple of days. So I'll restrain him and I'll cope it down with the files that I showed you, the cutting files. Next, I'm looking inside his nostrils, which are actually called nares. Hello. You can see, yep, they're clear, no discharge, nothing coming out of them. We're looking at his beak and his cere, which is the yellow bit. So the beak's obviously the grey bit, but the cere, and that's C-E-R-E, is the yellow bit, and that's just like skin. So you want to make sure that that's nice and clean. Remember, both sides. Yeah, that looks good. His eyes, nice and bright. So hawks, Harris hawks actually have 8 times vision compared to humans, so their eyes are very important to them. Next, we're looking at his feather condition. Yeah, he's looking good. So like I said, he is in molt. Looking at his feathers as we're going down, nice and basic. Okay, check his tail as well. I'll go that way, I have to go this way. So checking his tail. Yeah, all looks good. Okay. Going down, moving down his body, checking his legs. Always look at the equipment as well. So the equipment could do with a little bit of a clean, but it's okay on the whole. His legs look good. What I'd do if I had my other hand as well is I'd feel them, looking for heat, feeling for any heat or anything like that. Check his claws, his talons even. Oh, make sure that there's nothing stuck in them, no gum, because there's a little bit of fur there from a chick from the other night. So what I'll do is when I get a chance, I'll pull that off. Okay. Look at that. And then if I could, I would look underneath him. You can see he's got some white feathers under there. So he's got a little bit of fluff there. That's his though. So he's just going to shed that off soon. Check the other side. Check underneath. Okay, because his anus and his genitals are under there. So it's all internal. So it's called the cloaca. So we're looking under there. And what we're checking for is mites as well. But I've shown you the mite spray that I use. Okay. And that is a very, very, very quick health check. And that's what I would do before I flew him anywhere. That's just something very quickly that you do with all your animals. It's, you know, a visual, a behavioural check. All right. Some of the equipment, that's a bird bath. Okay, so you can see that's in the summer, you give him a bath. That's what he splashes around in. Harris hawks absolutely love water. Some cleaning equipment. I've got stuff up there as well that I use for him. Okay. Take it around the front and I'll show you the enclosure. So this, guys, this is called a bait. So here, so I've got him held, attached. What he's going to do, gets himself back on the glove. There you go. So that's called a bait, guys. You see now he's roused, so his feathers are up. So that means he's relaxed. So a bait is when they want to fly off. So you see, as soon as I come out the garage, you can see trees, rooftops, tops of cars. Now, being a bird, he wants to fly and get up as high as possible, okay? So you see he's looking up. He's looking for something to fly to, okay? So let's have a look at his mews. I'm just going to turn the light on, so 1 second. So this is his mews. You can see needs a bit of a clean, but it's clean the other day, so it's actually not too bad. Simply 3 walls, a roof, a perch covered in astroturf. So all this white stuff here, that's just fluff and bits of tennis ball that he's pulled off, so I'll pick that all off. And a plastic sheet at the back, so you can see when he defecates, it just catches on the sheet. And all I do is I remove that from the back, scrub it down once every couple of days. So I'll probably do that tomorrow. It's okay today. And give it all a good clean. The astroturf, I can pull that off and give it a clean as well. You can see on the perch is actually cable tied down. See there's a ring there that I attach them to. Always make sure though that the little clips here, that they're facing down, because that's, you don't want them standing on them, okay? Because if they're stood on anything sharp, they can get a disease called bumblefoot, all right? And that's really horrible. It's like swelling of the feet, abscesses, and they don't like that. Obviously no one likes it. Other diseases to look out for, bird flu, that's really common at the minute. So that's why he's inside all the time at the moment. Trichomoniasis as well, which is where they get, it's mainly from if you feed them wild pigeons and they get, it's like abscesses inside the mouth, okay? And then you're also just looking for any cuts, abrasions and sores and stuff. I'll show you just underneath, I've got some hooks. that I can hang my gloves and stuff up, but obviously you've just seen them. I've got a transport cage there, it needs a bit of a clean. You see last time he was in, he was moulding, so there's a lot of feathers in there. I've just got a bucket and some scrub and brush and stuff. It's not the cleanest thing in the world, guys, do apologise, but not the end of the world. There's a pan there as well that it kind of makes like a transportable bird bath that I was showing you, okay? And then I'll show you his perch in a second. So now that it stopped snowing, I'm going to take him out, I'm going to put him on his perch, and I'll show you what it looks like when he's on his perch, okay? So give me 1 second. Okay, and there he is on his perch, guys. So I don't know if you saw it before. This perch has spikes in the bottom, so it's called a spike perch. So I simply stand on the metal plate, dig it down into the grass. You see he's quite relaxed there. Something I should have mentioned last time, on the Falconer's knot, when I have him tethered, I always do 2. So there's one there on the loop, and there's one there as well. And as I said, there's the leash, there's the swivel, there's the jessers, and they attach to the anklets, okay? You can see just there. Sorry, buddy. Okay. And there's the glove that I brought him out with, the gauntlet. You can see it's just starting to get a little bit lighter. All right, still snowy, still cold. The crows don't like him being out. Obviously a bird of prey. So he's just having a look around. Yeah, so that's his perch, a spike perch. You can get transportable perches as well that just have metal blocks instead of spikes on here. So they're just heavier. All right, and you can take them anywhere you want. He's got his little tree. But this is where I put him whenever I'm cleaning out his enclosure. Okay, which is, remember, it's his mews, M-E-W-S. At a later date, we'll talk about the differences between aviaries and mews and the different kind of housing opportunities that we have for him. Now, the reason he's inside all the time at the minute in the garage is, well, it's winter, so it's cold. So I don't particularly want him outside in the snow. Remember, they're from America, so they're used to kind of warmer climates. They live in kind of deserty areas. But also, at the minute, I did mention earlier that there is bird flu going around. Bird flu does kill, so all the wild birds, like the crows that you've just seen, there is a chance that they are carrying it. And I live in quite a kind of wooded area, so it's very green, so there's a lot of wild birds around, okay? Let's go around and show you the other side. There he is having a peek around. You can see his coloration's nice rusty red. Show you his tail. There's his tail. Yeah, you see a bit funny here, buddy. There you can see, so he's got about, he has lost a couple of tail feathers because he is regrowing there. You can see he's starting to spread them out a bit now. There's his wings. All right, so yep, really nice bird. So you guys are going to be working with him at some point. All right, I hope that's helped a little bit. Probably just over about 10 minutes, I think, when I cut it all together. And with that, we're just going to say bye. Say bye. Rango. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to upload this, and then we'll see how we go. Okay. Come on, buddy. Home time. I've got you. Step up. Perfect. There you go. So I mentioned about him stepping on the glove before. That's it. Just a bit closer. So guys, that was just a very quick introduction to falconry, and I mean that was a quick introduction. Hello, Darcy. So that's just, you know, basics. There's a lot more to it than that. Obviously, we will go over everything at a later date when we can come in and you can handle and work the bird and we can fly them yourselves. A few things I didn't mention. Food. I'm sorry if I use that you are squeamish, but this is his main diet. Okay, and it is day-old chicks. All right. So he does eat around 4 to 6 of those a day, especially now that he's at fat weight. So when he's at flight weight, which is when I want him to work and fly, which is his diet, remember I mentioned that? He only has about 2 to 3 because it keeps him fit. So at the minute he's fat and he's not doing anything. He's just sitting, enjoying his kind of time off, okay? Another piece of equipment that I didn't show you that is a legal requirement that you have to have on him when you are free flying him is something called telemetry. And that is a tracker. Okay, so have a look at telemetry online if you get a chance. Just use the Google. Obviously, there's loads of different brands, and it's like a little. It's hard to describe. It's a little badge kind of thing, and it links up to your phone or an iPad, and it can show you exactly where the bird's flying to. I had something called Marshall when I was flying him, free flying him. Marshall telemetry, but you also get ones that got like handheld guns, and you see them on cheetahs and elephants and stuff, and it's a big long thing with spikes coming off. It looks like a TV aerial, and you swipe it around and it beeps when you're near him. Okay, so that's the telemetry. So you have to have one of those on if you're free flying him. And there's many reasons for that. Birds of prey, obviously, getting off. He actually doesn't like small dogs. So Mr. Darcy, we've just seen, if he's hungry enough, he will go in and have a go and have an attack on one of him. Give me a second. I've just got to let him out. 1 second. Okay, there we go. And last but not least, guys, birds of prey in the UK. All right, two really common ones that you will see: buzzards, very similar to Rango, the Harris hawk that you've just seen, a little bit bigger, a little bit stockier. You see them in like wooded areas and stuff. And kestrels. Everybody's seen kestrels, I'm sure. They're the ones you see hovering at the roadsides, looking for rodents and things like that. Okay, two really common birds of prey to keep an eye out for. All right, we'll go into a lot more detail when we can. But yeah, shoot me an email. You've got my contact if you need anything, any questions, get in touch. And I'll see you soon, guys. All right, see you then.